Hi everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Skype and welcome back to Emerald Path. On the last episode, we started our new city and we built a small industrial area that may or may not end up being temporary, as well as a small residential area that we're going to continue growing out in this episode. We have a small town square that we haven't developed yet, that we have a bit of commercial growth around, and we'll be looking to expand that as well. We ended the last episode right when we reached the first milestone, so we have some new city services that we'll be able to play around with today. So without anything further, let's get started. So diving right in right away, we can already see we have a problem. I mentioned this last episode that the first service we will want to build is going to be the landfill, and that's because garbage piles up really quickly. As you can see, it's already piling up. I have this mod up here that I'm forgetting the name of right now, but it gives you sort of a tally of the number of issues that are popping up in your city. So you can see right now that we have 11 buildings that are currently complaining of garbage. So let's go ahead and plot that down right away. I'm going to just build out our road network a little bit in the industrial area, just by another 10 squares. And then we can grab our standard landfill and put it down right here. Important to remember that once the landfill starts filling up, you won't be able to move it until you empty it again. So if we just watch for a second, we see some garbage trucks coming out. I actually have some new garbage trucks. I'm going to use those instead of the vanilla ones because they just look nicer. There they all go. So this will be plenty big enough for a city this size. Those will make quick work of this garbage problem. While they do that, we can come back over here and take a look at some of the other services that we've unlocked. So we've unlocked the medical center, which look like this if you're playing with the European style, or like this if you're playing with the standard vanilla style. And we also have a school, which looks like this in the European style, and this is the standard vanilla style. And I mentioned last episode that I downloaded this other Toronto elementary school style from the Steam Workshop. So I think I will probably work with that. Education is one of the most boring things in the game, so I'm going to go ahead and start with that. I'm going to put it right here. I think this is a big enough spot. Maybe I'll put it on the inside actually. There we go, everybody's happy. And that has a capacity for 400 students. We only have 539 people in the whole city, so we don't even have, we won't even come close to that capacity. Now we're starting to get a little bit tight on cash again, so let's go ahead and build out a little bit more of our residential area, and we can start zoning some more residential as well. Okay, so our residential is slowly zoning, and our commercial has fully zoned. We got 2 gas stations right next to each other. That's unfortunate luck, but I think we can probably go ahead now and start working on our town square. We don't have any access to the park assets yet. We haven't yet unlocked those, maybe in the next milestone, but we do have our medical center. So we can go ahead. I think I'm going to use, I think I'll use the European style. And I'm going to go ahead and place that right sort of in the center here. Now, it won't be lined up perfectly with the middle because that's just our luck. But you know what we can do is place it down and then use the move it mod to just move it over. There. Yes, right in the center as you come into this town square. And we will fill that out with a fire station and a police station and access to this nice big park that we'll be able to put in behind. But for now, that is all we have for the square. So this residential area is slowly filling out. We don't have a lot of residential demand, but we do have a little bit of industry demand creeping up. So let's come over here. Let's zone a little bit more of this industrial area. All right, so we've done that, and we can see it's filling in pretty quickly already. One thing that I neglected to do was increase our taxes. So we unlocked that in the last milestone. So let's go over here. By default, it's set to 9%. We can turn that up without causing any trouble. We can turn that up to about 12%. If you go any higher, you'll start getting people complaining, and in worst case scenarios, moving out and abandoning their homes. So 12% is a good happy medium. And now we're getting some more commercial demand. Now I don't have a lot more space for commercial thought out, but I do have this little area right here. So we can go ahead, use the marquee tool and just plop that out. And then we will need to think about where else we want to build commercial, and maybe it's along the outside of these residential neighborhoods. It does bring a lot of traffic, truck traffic in particular for deliveries, as well as noise. And people hate noise pollution, so that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. But with this sort of low density commercial, it shouldn't really be an issue. Oh, and we have reached the next milestone. So in this milestone, we have unlocked a new tile if we want to expand. We've also unlocked districts, some policies, a second loan, although we haven't used the first yet. We've unlocked the fire department and the police department. And we've unlocked some industrial specializations. That's good. And if we take a look down here at our buildings, we've got the police station, we got the firehouse, we got the European version of the firehouse, the European version of the police station. We have this new sort of police station that I downloaded from the workshop, and this new fire station that I downloaded from the workshop. Okay, so we can get back into our little town square here, and let's start with a fire department. It's a little bit more important at this stage of the game than a police station. So I'm going to use this one that I purchased from, or that I downloaded from the Steam Workshop, just because I think it looks nicer. And I'll plop it in right here beside. Then I would also like to do a police station, but I can't afford a police station yet, probably. Let's see. Oh, I can. How much money is that going to leave me with? We'll leave me with about 6,000. Okay, let's go ahead and put in the police station as well. And I'm just going to come in here and choose the vehicles that I want because they just look a little more realistic. Great. And I don't think I did that for the ambulance. So those will just spawn some custom vehicles that I downloaded from the workshop rather than the vanilla vehicles, and they just look a lot more realistic. So that is all we can do for our town square for now. We do have quite a bit of residential demand, so let's get going and develop a little more residential. Okay, so we've zoned some more residential and it's slowly starting to fill up now. We can see that we're having a bit of a power problem. You can see that over here too in our watch it panel. We're also having a water problem. So we can fix those by adjusting our budget because we cut those budgets. So let's go and increase our power budget back to 100% and our water budget to about 75%, should do it for now. And now let's go take a look. Yeah, so we're doing okay for power now, and we're doing okay for water. Looking here, I can see I didn't extend our water network over far enough, so let's do that real quick. And then I think that I'm going to zone some more commercial because we have quite a bit of commercial demand. I think I'll do it right along here on the outskirts of our residential neighborhood. Okay, so that's filling in nicely. We're earning quite a nice little sum here in property taxes now, so that's great. We don't have particularly high demand for anything at this point. Let's take a look at how our school is doing. It's doing great, so it's only operating at half capacity right now, so that is fine. Our medical clinic has no patients, so everybody's nice and healthy. We've got 3 criminals in holding cells, and we have no fathers right now, so everything's going great. What I'd like to do now is sort of continue on this winding road, but I can't because it would naturally follow this river, and this river goes outside of our tile. So maybe now is the time to purchase another tile. So looking around at what we have, I have good highway access already. I don't feel like I need to buy a tile that necessarily has highway in it for the sake of having highway in it, because we do have good highway access. We have a little bit of train too, so I don't necessarily need a tile for that. And we have good water access, obviously. So really, it's really up to us what we want. And I think in this case, it would be nice to, and there we go, reaching another milestone. We've now unlocked parks and recreation and landscaping. So that's going to change things quite a bit for us. So actually, perhaps we'll save the expansion for a future episode, and we'll just do a little bit of parks now, a little bit of beautifying up the city. The first thing I'd like to do is put in some paths, because as I mentioned earlier, we want our city to be as walkable as possible. And when we're using roundabouts and the traffic manager, we actually disable crossing, so people aren't able to cross at most of these intersections. So the way we can fix that is by building paths that go over top, pedestrian paths. And I actually have a mod for that automatically builds the bridges for us, just saves time. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use it on inner roundabout because I think it looks nicer than the star. And then we're going to put it on this roundabout, except, wouldn't you know it, it's not recognizing it as a roundabout, unfortunately. So we may have to do this manually. And why is that? Why isn't that recognized as a roundabout? Let's go take a look at how this roundabout is set up and see if something is amiss. So that's all correct. This should be correct. Okay, so we'll turn that off because people don't get to cross there. And let's see if we can just do that again. Okay, so it doesn't want to do it for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we're just going to go ahead and have it build these little ones to start, and we can connect them manually. It's not going to do it for me there. Great. Okay, so that's what we have to work with. For some reason, it's not recognizing it as a roundabout. We sort of get the idea. Normally, it would build an inner roundabout for us with bridges connecting from all sides of these streets. But we can do it ourselves. So I don't actually need bridges to go to the inside of the roundabout, so I'm just going to remove that. And my Sims can just walk around the outside and up and down and up and down. It's a little less convenient for them, but it's possible. So we'll just have them do that. I could build one that goes right across the middle. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just manually go across the middle. Turn node snapping off. There. Let's go straight across. And let's put on arrow keys to make it happen. And we'll go from there to there. There. So now people have this pedestrian path to get across the roundabout. They don't have to hold up traffic by crossing at the intersection. And then let's come over here and see where else we could possibly need a path. If you live over here, you maybe would benefit from a path that cuts straight down the middle. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll just do that manually. We can turn anarchy off. Actually, I like to keep anarchy on because it does let me, it does let me build it from road to road, which is more convenient for me. So that will just help our sim save a little bit of time and encourage the walking. I'm not too worried when these buildings disappear because they'll regenerate. It doesn't take very long. And then maybe over here, actually, we can go with this and this path. When it comes to paths, I don't worry too much about making them like straight and lined up or anything because I think that paths actually look quite charming and quaint when they're not perfectly straight. I'm using this this sort of cheapest pavement path here. You can do other ones that have decorations and they look nicer. I said cheaper. There's no actual price difference. These ones look nicer, but I tend to prefer these in parks rather than these just sort of little cut through paths that people can take. These blocks aren't big enough to really require a cut through path, so I'm not going to bother with that. Now I would like to develop this into our park, which we now can do. To start developing a park area, we'll need to create the area. We need to paint the district. So we can go ahead and do that. That's far too large. This will just be a small park. It's not going to be that big. The most important thing when making these parks is that you make sure the only access is through a park gate. If people can get into your park by another path that doesn't go through a gate, they will, and then they won't count towards your milestones, your park milestones. So they're calling this Chester Gardens. I'm going to just go ahead and call it Central Park. And I'm going to put the main gate on this side, I think. Completely opposite our industrial, or our municipal buildings over here. So let's grab a main gate. Do I want one with parking or do I want one that's just small? Maybe a big one. It's not going to let me put it right in the middle of that road, as we know, so I'm just going to do the same thing I did last time. This is just telling me that now that park has reached level 1, I have new services, new amenities for it. I'm just going to use the move it mod to just move this over so it's more centered. Just looks nicer that way. Okay, so now let's take a look at where we might want to put some additional entrances to the park. I think we're probably going to want to put a side gate over here by this road. Maybe over here. And maybe over here too. We definitely want one here, and that should be okay. So now I'm going to grab this park path with decorations tool, and we're going to want to connect all these gates together. But before that, maybe let's think about what we want to have as the center focal point of this. Maybe we want a nice plaza in the middle. So let's go ahead and plop that in. And now we can go and build our paths. Let's build this up to here. I'm going to use anarchy just because it's going to make this a lot easier for me. And we'll just move this down. To there. Okay, so there we go. There's our park for now. The fences don't really do anything functional. They just make it look nice. They don't actually stop Sims because, as we know, Sims don't really go across grass. They'll always stick to the paths. So now that we have that done, we have gates as the only way in, whether it's the side gate or the main gate. We can go ahead and set our price. I'm just going to jack this up. People will come sort of regardless of the price. So this is just a good way to make money. And as you can see, we're already almost making enough money. We've had 57 visitors already, and we have more than enough entertainment to get us to the next milestone. So we'll leave that for now. There's our first park in the city. I think what I'm going to do, just to wrap up this video now, is I'm going to pop in a few parks around our residential area just to help with property values, and then that'll be it for today. Okay, so there we go. I've added a few parks. It will temporarily decrease our population because we've destroyed some houses to put it in there, but the houses that regrow could end up being a higher level, and thus they will accommodate more people. So I think that's where we're going to leave it today. We grew our industrial area a little bit. We grew our residential area quite a little bit. We went up 2 milestones. We worked on our central square, our central park, which is coming out quite nicely, if I do say so myself. And we added some parks to help our Sims increase their land value. Oh, and the school. Let's not forget the school, which is starting to approach capacity. So in the next episode, we may need to put in a second school. So that's going to do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Next time, we will look at further expanding our residential area, probably having to add in that second school and hopefully reaching the milestone where we can add in a high school. And then we'll look more at which tile we want to purchase. I'm guessing we're probably going to want to purchase that tile that goes along the river, just so we can expand on that winding river road. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, and don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks.